everyone and welcome back. I'm Nicole and this is Letting It Be So. I am here for a Friday Sews catch-up, which, how long has it been? I think it's been another 2-week gap since my last one. Just basically because there's been a lot going on work-wise. I've had a few more days in the office compared to normal, so like filming time has been minimum. And also it's been really hot in the UK. I know not hot for many places around the world, but for the UK it has been very hot, and yeah, some of it, yeah, there's just been a lot going on. So but here we are for a Friday Sews. So so just to let you know what I'm wearing, so I guess there's a little bit of a spoiler because I do have a sew along video coming out for this make and a couple of others. But this is the Tulia tee, which is a pattern by sewing by Masin, however you want to pronounce that, in some viscose jersey. I'll just hover up a little bit so you can see it. It's this lovely floral viscose jersey that I got from the Masin. It's just very drapey. You can see the grown on sleeve action going on here. I have got a full video about this and some other summer t-shirts that I have been sewing recently coming up very soon. I'm literally, as soon as I finish filming this, going to take the final photos of the completed t-shirts to share, and then we'll all be good. So hopefully this video will be up on Friday, and then that video about the t-shirts will be up like maybe Monday. But yeah, that was, yeah, I really could, well, I could have got it finished sooner, but when it's very hot, the last thing you want to be doing is taking on and off a bunch of tops to take photographs of you in each one, because otherwise I would have probably started looking okay and then ended up a sweaty, dishevelled looking mess in the final one. So yeah, a video to come on that very soon. So yeah, in terms of what I have been sewing, there are 2 other t-shirts that I'll be making, but I'm not going to show you them because I don't want to spoiler the entire of the other video with the final finish makes. So yeah, the only other thing that I have been sewing, because again, in the heat, sometimes it's just, yeah, I just hadn't felt like sewing, or my brain was just too hot to function. So yeah, I haven't done a huge amount of sewing. So I have one work in progress, which I had mentioned that I was going to be starting, which is the closet core Nick's top or tunic. I've forgotten which variation it is. But it's essentially a like peplum blouse style top. That's my like wearable twirl, because I eventually want to make the full dress of the closet core Nick's. But yeah, I'm trialing, yeah, I'm using the top version because it uses the same pattern pieces to test that out, the fit wise. So I'm going to show you just a couple of the bits that I have sewn, because I haven't got super far. I've done a reasonable amount. It probably doesn't look like it, but in terms of like sewing faff, I feel like I did a fair bit. So I've prepared all like the front pieces, and I've also like sewn part of the yoke together, and yeah, I feel like I did that, and then yeah, it got very warm. I had stuff on a weekend, so yeah, that's where my progress has stalled for the time being. This is the bit that has caused me, well, I like how it looks now, but when I was doing it, I was like, oh, this is are you serious? At the instructions. So you've got like 2 front pieces that have they finished off with bias binding, and then you've got like rouleau loops for the buttons. You get your pattern piece to cut the loops from, and it didn't look too much different to, you know, other patterns I've had with like ties. But when you like read the instructions, it's just like, yeah, fold this in half together, like right sides together, and sew it at like with like a 1/6 centimetre seam allowance, and then trim that down and then turn it the right way out. And you're like, I beg your finest pardon, because when you fold it in half, like it you just end up sewing like the tiniest thing. And obviously this is, so this is fairly lightweight viscose, so you're properly in like Muffy dogs are gonna chow down on this like territory. So I opted not to do that because I started and I was like, this is going to end in bad times. Fortunately, I had cut the piece out twice because I had my fabric on a fold. So I was, glad that I had two bits to play around with that were the same pattern piece. So yeah, what I did was I kind of did the same thing as you do in like some of the other patterns that I've done recently that have got like front ties where you fold it in half, and then fold each side into the center and then fold it flat again and the top stitch. And yeah, that was still a faff. It still was like bad things might happen, but it did result in thin strap or not really a thin strap, but it's still it gave me the kind of sort of ribbon effect that you want for these rouleau loops. And also meant I didn't have to turn it inside out because life is too short to turn a teeny tiny tube inside the right way around from being inside out. So I'll show you my loops. So I think they're pretty good, considering that I didn't follow the pattern. So I got 5 of these on the front, and then you have like a neck binding that was also really thin, a little bit wobbly. Like it's not the best sewing, but like this is a wearable toile, so it's not perfect, but it'll do. So yeah, so I've done, that's obviously got the loops on, and then this is the other side that's just plain. I haven't pressed it or anything, so it's, it is a bit wavy, but yeah, that's where I'm at. So I think when I down tools on this, the next step was to gather the shoulder seams to go into the yoke shoulder seam. So yeah, I think I've done the faffiest bit, and the other bits will be a bit more straightforward. But yeah, hopefully it's going to be warm, but slightly less warm this coming weekend. So I'm hoping that I'll get a little bit of sewing time. There is a possibility I'm going to have to do some work though over the weekend, just because I have a deadline fast approaching, and I have a few days annual leave next week for one thing and another. So like, yeah, hopefully some progress will be made on that. But these things happen. Sometimes you just have to have a little bit of a change of priorities. But yeah, so that is my progress on the Nyx top tunic, whichever one it is. I've entirely forgotten because I have no brain. All right, so whilst I have not done much sewing, I have done some knitting. I had been having like a bit of a knitting mojo slump for quite a while. Like you'll have seen, I had shared like some socks that I was knitting, and socks, like I like the finished product of knit socks, but I always take forever to finish them. And then just a really slow project for me. And I had a sweater that I was working on, but it's very much an autumn winter jumper, so it wasn't I don't know, it just wasn't giving me what I needed, and therefore like the the motivation to pick it up and knit on it was just not there. But the past weekend I went to an event for Worldwide Knit in Public Day that was organised by a friend over in Woolwich, and there was a speaker about knitting for your mental health and well-being, and she was talking about, amongst many other things, was like, having values and what you want to get out of your knitting, and listening to that rather than fighting against it. And so I had a really good think about, what do I actually want to knit? What will bring me joy to knit? And therefore, what will I be motivated to pick up on a regular basis? And I did a little bit of browsing of some patterns, and I found a colourwork pattern. So I really like doing colourwork, but I haven't done any for a while. And yeah, I found a really cool pattern, which is the Stego sweater by, oh god, the person's surname is definitely Hunt, but I've entirely forgotten what their first name is. I want to say either Mary or like Hillary or something that is like Uri. But I will put it up on screen, and I will put a link to the pattern as well in the box down below. But it's essentially a dinosaur themed colourwork pattern. I'll pop an image so that you can see what I am aiming for. And yeah, I didn't have the yarn for it, in stash. I've actually done a reasonable amount of like destashing of my yarn. And so I went onto Wool Warehouse, which is where I tend to go for like commercial yarn. And I bought some, I'll show you a ball of yarn first before I show you the progress I've made since I cast on. But yeah, it's Yarnsmith's Merino DK, which is 100% merino yarn. And for the main colour, I went for this, which is just as Barbie pink as it's showing up on camera as in real life. And this was just what my heart wanted. So yeah, who doesn't need a bright pink dinosaur themed jumper in their life? I don't know. So yeah, I've got that, and you'll see the contrast colour when I show you progress. It's not a reasonable amount. I have completed the first chart, and now I'm on the second chart, which has the full Stegosaurus pattern in it. It kind of wants to curl up, so this is where we are. I'll show you this side so you can see the bit that's a bit flatter. But yeah, you've got these. I think these are sort of meant to be like little footprints, and then you've got this pattern here. So I've got this. This is kind of like a creamy beige colour. And yeah, these little triangles, and yeah, you can see I've just started here the next chart, which is the Stegosauruses. So yeah, I'm super excited about this. And yeah, I think, given how much I've already knit, I think maybe the answer to my knitting mojo at the moment is just to knit all of the DK weight colourwork jumpers. So if anyone knows of any fun patterns, let me know. But yeah, that is my progress on the Stego sweater. All right, so the last thing I have to share in this Friday sews, because yeah, I haven't done too much actual sewing, so sewing content is a bit thin on the ground. But I did do a little bit of fabric shopping recently for some projects that I had in mind. Well, projects I had in mind / I was just really inspired by seeing someone else's projects, and yeah, didn't want to miss out on getting the fabric. So let me grab it now. So these are all from Masin. How many I've got here? 1, 2, it's 4. Can I count? Yeah, there's 4 fabrics here. So first one is a remnant piece, and it's from their Adventure collection, which is their own design prints. And you might recognize it if you've watched other of my videos. So this is the fabric that was included in one of the recent Masin Makers Club bags with the Lisa Taylor pattern, so the pattern for a wrap skirt. And I have got the pattern cut out for the wrap skirt. I haven't actually cut out the fabric using that pattern, but it is ready to go. And it's probably like next thing after I finish the next that I will make a start on. But I really wanted a bit more of the fabric to make a top that I could wear either as a separate piece or wear along with the wrap skirt when it's finished, to have like a cord, and that, you know, kind of looks like a dress. I will put a link to another video that I recently recorded about looking for the ultimate summer top pattern. But yeah, I've picked up this piece, which is a remnant. It's 1.2 meters, I think, which, yeah, should be plenty for a, you know, a kind of simple tank style top. I still haven't decided which of the patterns I was talking about in that video I'm going to use, but yeah, I picked up this to, yeah, make a matching set. Right, there's a bit of a theme of matching sets here. So another fabric that I picked up from the Masin was their most recent and final addition to that adventure kind of summary collection of their own prints. Again, it was in the Masin Makers Club bag that I got one of the colorways of this fabric. And then, yeah, inspired by, yeah, really wanting to have some cord sets that I could wear together or separately, I decided that I would like to pick up the other colorway. So I got I think this is called Sea Life, I want to say, but I will obviously put links in the description box. So I got the white background colorway. It's viscose linen. Sorry, I should have said that. Yeah, so I got the white background colorway in the Masin Makers bag, which I'll pop a link to my video about that. But there is also a blue background version of the print. So I'll show you it. So yeah, I love how it kind of like looks sort of abstracty, swirly, and then if you like look closely, you can see, like, you know, here's like a shell with a pearl in, you've got like a starfish, there's a fish there, and like seaweedy kind of shapes as well. So I like that it sort of, you know, it kind of is like a secret print almost, depending on how closely you look at it. But yeah, it's on this really nice bright like royal blue background, which is obviously very summery. It feels very like, you know, Grecian villa esque like vibes. So yeah, so I'm thinking this will be a skirt. Probably I'm thinking the True Bias Mauve skirt, which I have made before, which is a, you know, pretty straightforward gathered tiered skirt, but I think that will be great. And yeah, I think that it'll be fun to have like the same print on like top and bottom half, but in the different colorways. So the Masin Makers Club bag with the other fabric in has a pattern for a summer top. So yeah, that's what I'm aiming for. And yeah, really lovely, really nice like weight to it as well. And then the final two fabrics that I picked up was inspired by Sam from Sequin Girly Creates, and seeing one of her recent makes videos where she had tested out a top pattern, and she had used some French terry that was a CU at 6 fabric. Sadly, I haven't been able to find the colorway that she used, which is like a minty green kind of color in the French terry. I've seen it in the like CU at 6 tend to do their prints on like French terry and then like a sort of twill sometimes. So I've only seen it in the twill, and I might pick up some of that to make a bag because I really love the mint green. But they did have the French terry available in another sort of green oriented colorway. And it's a really simple thing, but as you may know, I've talked about it before on this channel. I'm a big Formula 1 and motorsport fan, and so yeah, I picked up some of the CU 6 checkers. So this is like a cream, like off-white color with this like olive, and they call it like smoke green or something like that. Yeah, olive green checker pattern. So I've got a meter of it for a sweatshirt of some kind. And then I also bought half a meter of the ribbing that goes with it. My plan is, because, you know, like I say, Formula 1 fan, my plan is that if I make a relatively plain sweatshirt, so, you know, either, you know, my two general sweatshirt patterns that I use all the time are the Megan Nielsen Jarrah and the Greyline Studio Linden, both fairly plain with not too many seam lines. I'm thinking it would be fun to do some embroidery of some like something F1, or maybe if I can find some like, you know, iron-on badges on perhaps Etsy. I know that's the sort of thing that people do, like to have as like a badge on it or something, just, you know, to make it motorsport. That's my plan. But yeah, probably not something that I'm going to make up particularly soon, because obviously it is, like I say, it's way too hot for a sweatshirt currently. So yeah, but yeah, I know that the CU at 6 fabrics, that they tend to have relatively short like print runs, so I didn't want to miss being able to pick up some of this. So yeah, that is that. All right, that is all of the crafty creative content that I have for this Friday Sews. In terms of other stuff, yeah, like I say, it has been very hot. I live in a flat which is not on the ground floor, so I don't have any outside space, and as we all know, science-wise, hot air rises, so you know, I can't go downstairs where it's cooler because I don't have a downstairs in my flat. So yeah, it's been quite warm, and I'm not a fan. Like, I would be happy if it was just a solid like 20 degrees and dry, like that would do me fine. But yeah, it getting past like 25 in a city, it's not super pleasant. We are not set up for it. I'm sure probably non-UK folks are, are very tired of people from the UK moaning about the heat, but trust me, like we are just not cut out for it. In terms of how our houses are designed, very few places have aircon, or at least aircon that can actually deal with the heat. The tube is like, you know, traveling to the Earth's core. You know, it's not great, but you know, I'm at least enjoying it not raining and being nice. But yeah, if it could just be ever so slightly less sweaty, that would be a joy. Thank you, please, weather gods. Yeah, so what else have I been up to? Not a lot. This is going to be a pretty quiet weekend, I think. So yeah, should have time to sew. There is, you know, talking about motorsport just now with that checker fabric. There is Formula One this weekend. They're in Austria, which always gives me like FOMO, because the Austrian Grand Prix was the first Formula One race that me and my mum went to in person. We went in 2017. It was, talking about it being hot, it was seriously hot. Like, I don't know how we survived. The weather kept saying every day that there was going to be thunderstorms, and we'd taken like, you know, rain max and brollies, and the entire weekend it rained once a little bit for like 10 minutes, and that was it. So we ended up using the brolly as like a parasol to keep the sun off us, because we were just outside all day cooking away. And then I got stung by a wasp at the end of it, which is a fun story, because I had never been stung by a wasp before. So doing it in a foreign country was not on my plan of life, especially when I had to walk down a very long hill to get back to the place where the coach for the travel company we were with was going to pick us up from. So yeah, it was a little bit chaotic, and it did end up getting, because again we'd been outside in all of the hot and dirty weather, just sat on the grassy bank. It did end up getting infected, so then I had to have antibiotics when I got back to the UK. So yeah, that was a novel end to my first F1 race. But yeah, so I should be watching that. I do have a couple of days off next week, albeit one of them is for like not fun reasons, because I have to have a filling in one of my teeth. One of my teeth has been on borrowed time for a good couple of years. My dentist's been keeping an eye on it, and I had a checkup last a couple of weeks ago, and she said, yeah, sorry, it's time. So yeah, got an appointment next week to have a filling, which hopefully won't be too bad. Like, I haven't had one, I think I had a couple as a teenager and haven't had one since, so I've kind of forgotten what it's like. So hopefully it'll be all right. So yeah, that. But yeah, then I've got a couple of days off to do some more fun activities. My plan is that on the following day after I've had my tooth appointment, again talking about motorsport, apologies if you don't enjoy sport, that's how it is here. Yeah, so the McLaren Formula One team are doing an event in Trafalgar Square, so I will be going along to that. You can have some of their cars and people on stage and one thing and another, so I'm going to go to that. But yeah, hopefully there's going to be a bit more sewing. It's just one of those times, like I say, work, I've got a very important deadline, and you know I enjoy having the flexibility that, you know, I can put in some extra hours now to get stuff done, in the knowledge that I can take those hours back once that deadline is all done and dusted. You know, I enjoy that flexibility when it comes to my job. But yeah, I think that's everything that I have for this Friday. So I hope everyone is well. I hope if you're in the UK, you are surviving in the heat. And yeah, obviously, if you're not already, please do consider subscribing and giving me a like to help boost the channel, and share it with other people in the sewing community on YouTube. But yeah, I wish you a happy Friday and a happy weekend, and I will speak to you all again very soon. Bye.